Welcome to the Ramon Foster Show, brought to you by the Get Go Cafe and Market, where they're serving hot, fresh food 24/7. Hi, Mon. Happy Friday.
Hey, DK. How are you?
I'm all right, but you know what? I still got something sticking with me from yesterday's show.
What?
I still think Keisha pulled one over on you.
Don't
For
blame
anybody
me.
who missed yesterday's show, and why in the world would you do that? Ramon was telling a story about how he got his lovely wife an anniversary gift, 10th anniversary. Congratulations again to you both.
Thank you.
And that it was a belt. And that somehow he thinks that he slyly asked her for her belt size. How long ago?
This was last week sometime.
Last week.
Yes.
And that she would never have thought that he's going to go get her this belt. And he thinks that he really got one on her here.
I think I won, okay, is what I'm telling you. I think I won. No way she sold it that good, DK, is all I'm telling you. I feel like the fashion in which I asked her about her pant size was clueless. Because we weren't supposed to buy gifts.
Oh, that's what. Okay, well, hang on. In order to really settle this once and for all, we're bringing on the resident expert on all things marriage related. That being my wife of 26 years, Dali, and we just had our own wedding anniversary just 4 days ago. So here she comes into the studio here per Ramon's invitation.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey. Hi, Dali. How are you?
Hey. Well, I've been ambushed here. I don't know what this is.
So I told DK that our anniversary was yesterday, okay? And this was the case. I got my wife a belt because she was talking about she wanted a nice belt. I got her a Gucci belt, okay? But I didn't know what size to get. So I was like, hey, babe, like, with your pant size, like, what size do you get? Like, if it was a number or something like that. She was like, oh, what do you mean, like Euro sizes? And I'm thinking to myself, when I gave her the gift, she was like, she was just like, I had no idea. Dali, did I sell this or not? Or did she sell me?
How is that relevant? You bought a gift. Do you know how it doesn't really matter how you receive a gift? Like, even if she knew exactly what you're buying, she's like, I hope it's a Gucci belt rather than, you did great. But she probably did expect pants. But I guarantee you she was more excited about the Gucci belt than any pants you would have bought. So you did great. Who cares who sold who? You bought her a present. You're amazing. That's awesome.
Your husband cares, okay? Because he doesn't think I was smooth enough.
Who cares? Because you know what? You know how smooth he is?
How? He's smooth as the pavement?
Yes. So he's not one to talk. He's definitely not the authority on smooth. You did great. You know what? Maybe you should ask me for my belt size. Like any day.
So it's 2 against 1. You tell him he lose this one.
Wait, did he think he's going to bring me here and I'll be on his side on this? Dude,
I think he did.
You're totally boo-booed on this one. That's just, no.
Exactly. He was wrong. We were right.
Is this segment over yet? Don't we have to go to a break?
Did you at least get a good one? A good belt?
Yes, I got a good one. It is like a brushed gold one. And Ooh. Guess what? I could have got 2, but you know what I did? She said, you used the big brain on this decision. It's a it's a reversible one. It's nice.
Oh, those are so cool. Yeah. Brush gold is so in timeless. You did good. I'm thinking sports fans are kind of sick of our belt. I can go on this.
You know what? We can go on this. DK's not smooth, okay? We've established that. I was right again, and if it's ever between he and I, you're picking my side.
Bring me on. That's easy.
Ramon and Dali. There we go.
That's right. We're making a good team.
You lose, DK.
It's not my first L.
It's
not. It's not.
That? We just became a team.
Okay, you just became a team. I see how it goes. I take the L. At least I never tied in Cleveland. Foster, there we go. Oh, no,
you know
he went there. He did.
You know what? I still got a 1-up because who has a hyperextended knee at the beginning of the training camp and make opening day roster and starts?
Yeah.
I took an L.
Yeah, I took a W. I took a W because I went to the back of that locker room afterward, got an exclusive interview with Ramon Foster I did.
Yeah,
When we
did.
come back, we're actually going to talk about Steelers quarterbacks. We're going to do that. It's going to be a football thing. Welcome back to the Ramon Foster Show. As promised, actual relevant content. That meaning football. Ramon, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Don't pick the quarterback that you think will be the starting quarterback. Pick the one you want. Which quarterback do you want coming out of that tunnel at Paul Brown Stadium?
I'm gonna go somewhere non-sexy too, because I feel bad for not paying off the debts with him too. It's Chris Oladuncan. Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah, Oladokun.
But Oladuncan. I don't want to dismiss him as much as we actually have. And I know
That's
people don't want
cool.
to speak about him, but this is the thing, and I'll get to the answer in a second. He is an X factor in this. He is
How
a
so?
draft pick simply
Yes.
because if you need a third quarterback, one, you want a cheaper one. We do know Mason is on a separate contract right now, on the second contract too, okay? You're also paying Kenny Pickett a good piece of money too as a first rounder. And you know, Mitch, although it's average about $7 million with escalators in it to go up to higher.
There's significant escalators, yes.
There's room in there as far as, okay, well, where do you get cheap? How do you keep it? And of course, the idea that if two last, whether it's Mason and Kenny Pickett, or if it's Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett, you know you need a third quarterback. And our guy Chris, man, who was a 7th-round draft pick this year,
He was.
I think he plays a part in this too, that we've yet to mention his name much at all. He is a reason that one of the others will be gone, because he's a guy that can run scout team. He's also a guy that has the athletic side to his game in which he can do scout team movements. He's more valuable as far as the Kenny Pickett. Kenny needs to get live reps, but he needs them against the first or second team defense is what his role on this team is going to be. So now that we paid off Chris Oladokun, we paid that off. I just couldn't dismiss him anymore as if he wasn't a draft pick and not a part of this team.
Let me say something about Oladokun, because I was able to spend a little bit of time with him. This was at minicamp.
Yeah.
He strikes you as being really smart in a Josh Dobbs kind of way, which, as in really smart.
Yeah.
Okay. And he also has formed a visible bond with Pickett, which I kind of like. I mean, for the long term, I think it's good to have that support. We saw what Dobbs has always meant to Ben, for example.
Yes.
And with Oladokun, I've gone back and I've looked at his film. I've looked at his statistics, and in hearing Oladokun himself describe himself as being way more of a pocket passer, a drop back type than he is a mobile. He also has the mobility. Okay. So what you're saying when it comes to scout team and value, what do you value in a scout team quarterback? One, he's got to be able to mimic Lamar. Okay. Yeah. You got to be able to,
and Deshaun.
You got to be able to put on the right penny and attack the job the right way. But his other ability is simple precision passing.
Yes.
That's what he said. That's his point of pride.
Yes.
And as such, the defense values that, because you're putting guys into position where they can really get tested out there. How did we get to talking about Oladokun here when I asked you which quarterback do you want to see run out of the tunnel? Who do you want to see starting?
Whoever we pick, that means one probably has to go, which is why I had to.
It's
going to
be Mason.
Up.
It's going to be Mason.
Yeah. Okay,
and that's what Oladokun facilitates.
There we go. I had to establish that. Gotcha. Who I want to see is Mitch Trubisky.
Why is that?
Because if he has that P-word potential that made him a number 2 overall pick, if I'm not mistaken, then you find yourself in a good position. We see what Chicago is doing to Justin Fields currently, okay? Like, it seems to be a bunch of neglect in how they operate as a team, as a ownership right now. And I almost kind of want to be in a forgiving role of Mitch Trubisky to say, hey, he's got something left in the tank. If you get that out the gate, this team is good. This team is challenging themselves or everybody else in the AFC North. We figure Lamar have a bounce back season. Their defense is always pretty solid. At least they can hang their hat on that. Lamar has been going off on social media on former players, so you know he's motivated now. Okay, he had himself a night the other night. But also the fact that Kenny still is going to need time. Learning and breaking down defense is going to be clutch for him, okay? And again, I said, him getting those quality, hey, whether he splits the last 3 reps against the ones in defense, he needs to see that speed. He needs to recognize that, look, Minkah Fitzpatrick, that's a bad man, okay? Terrell, say what you want to. He will hit you or tap you on the hips because they can't hit quarterbacks in practice. And you need to realize that happens really fast. So you don't need that happening in the game, i.e. what happened to Mason when he got knocked out the way he did. You remember that?
Yeah.
You remember how long it felt like it took him to get back to ground zero? You don't want to throw him in there when you actually have a vet in front of him.
I would say that my own preference is the same as yours. I believe that Mitch Trubisky not only is going to be the starter, but that he should be. And he's my choice for the same reason that it's really not got that much to do with Mitch. I want to see Kenny Pickett put in the best possible position to succeed, and to the Steelers' credit, they do as well. But I feel like adding this too. As much as, Mitch has real pedigree, and this will only be his 6th NFL season, there's something different about having a first-round draft pick at quarterback and having it be the local kid that just carried the college to a conference championship and everything else that Pickett's meant. And Mon, you just picture him wearing the Steelers helmet and going out into the huddle. It's just different. Yeah. It's just a different feel to that scenario, isn't there?
Environment means a lot. We've spoke about that as we joke about other organizations like the Browns or like Jacksonville or even Cincinnati at times. You know what I'm saying? Like, environment means a lot. You know that having a good core of players like Cam, like Minkah, like TJ, you know what I'm saying? Now with Najee, how they're fostering him into a leadership role, that means a lot when you know the guys have your back. Like, I don't know if people had his back the same way in Chicago as, Pittsburgh will. And let's say this too. He's got a friendly guy up front. He's got James Daniels that understand where he comes from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they share
they both get it, believe me.
Interest of what again, you hear me speak about Coach Tomlin, but also those guys probably appreciate the approach on how he goes about work with them. And I know like Mitch has to feel that. To know, look, all I need you for is to just play ball. And if he does that, DK, then he deserves to start. What it looks like, that the potential of what it could be is what I'm hoping for. But you know where my heart lies. It's black and gold.
I can see it now. The Friday night world premiere of the motion picture Escape from Soldier Field, starring every quarterback who ever lived. I mean, that's
or you want a horror story? the national anthem.
Oh no, the worst thing that ever happened to Soldier Field, the national anthem flap.
Dun dun dun.
One of these days, that's all we're going to get now in the comments. Is it's going to be everybody going, "Hey, whatever happened? You said you were going to do a whole show on that someday." Well, we will. We will.
I'll get Al for that. Okay, I'm promise you that one.
Wow.
I promise you that
he
one.
promises big. He does. Yeah. Let's do this again Monday, Mon.
I'm ready. Okay.
Anyway, Ramon thinks everybody's really smart who watches this.
Yeah.
And that you'll see that the video bar still had more minutes to go on it, or your audio bar if you're listening on a podcast, and that the show actually didn't end after the second segment, despite the moron host thinking that it did.
We're like the movie that has the credits at the end, okay? Like stick around.
Escape from Soldier Field. Okay, so I don't have my glasses, Mon, so I can't read the Hey Mon questions.
Here we go. Let me see.
You're gonna have to to do the heavy lifting here.
I got the
Not
heavy
that you're
lifting right now.
used to that sort of thing. Yeah.
All right. Let me see. All right, here we go. I got one. I'm just pulling one. We'll see how this ends. Okay.
Let's do it.
From Paul Ski 5 cents.
Oh, Paul.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I know who this is. Go ahead.
Paul Ski. All right. Hey, Mon, with the popularity of the Ramon Foster Show, this is a very popular show.
The
DK.
raging popularity, he meant to say.
If it's not tell a friend, tell another friend, and tell their friend to tell a friend too, okay? And other players getting post-playing careers, for example, RC, Ike, Bus in the media. Then others like Hines and Randall L in coaching. During your playing days, could you look at a player and see ones that would be good at coaching or the ones that go into the media? Also, watch out for the Cam Hayward podcast coming soon.
That should be this one.
That's stiff right there.
Yeah.
Could you notice guys doing stuff like that? Yes, you could. If Charlie Batch wanted to do it, Charlie could do it, okay?
Heard from Charlie last week, by the way.
Did you? Okay,
Yeah,
that's our brother right there.
Yeah.
He's doing great things in Pittsburgh, by the way. I love that
That's
guy.
why I heard from him, because he was
Did
doing
you?
great things, as always, in his neighborhood over there in Homestead in the Munhall area.
He represents the city beautifully, man. I also used to say Charlie could run for governor if he wanted to, man.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you notice guys that are getting to this type of the sports media side. I think guys are more likely to get into media than they will coaching for the most part, man. Just simply because a lot of guys just don't want to coach, or they'll start out coaching and say, man, you know what, this ain't for me. Like, you really got to dumb it down to coach youth also. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing my brothers dealt with. That's one thing I've heard other guys. I've even heard basketball players say it's hard to teach the youth because you've learned so much in your advanced stages of playing football as a pro that you're like, how come you just don't get it? And that's not how to operate, you know. A guy in particular, Vince Williams, I knew he was going to be a coach. He loves football too much to actually be away from it in the aspect of just go into the abyss and never hear from him again. The Castro, no media, no coaching, okay? That's not in his repertoire. Let's use a guy that's near and dear to me again, Marquise.
It stinks because Dave would be so good at it.
He would be good. Just do the job, okay, man?
Honestly.
You see what I did?
Yeah.
But Pounce, I don't think he's a coach or media type. I feel like he's an inspiration type. I feel like he's a guy he still does his camps. He still is involved in the curation of what football is. Ryan, you knew he was going to do it. Max starts his
Ryan Clark was the most easily predicted media personality in that room, because what RC enjoyed was the stage / soapbox. And there's a difference. Like, to bring Dave up again, David DeCastro, when Dave would do an interview, he'd get all formal, stand up, the chest is out. You can picture it, right?
Yeah,
and
I see
he'd
it.
say, what do you need? And he'd give you really good stuff because he's a smart guy and he's giving you everything. And for our purposes, especially for writing articles, that was really helpful. RC wanted to commentate.
Yeah.
Okay. And he did it with, let's say, a more calculated and less heated emotional way than, let's say, someone, for example, like Mike Mitchell, to throw in someone from the past. Mike Mitch would flip out. Okay. Not always for the better, because he and I had it out more than once. And he was not going to be a fit for the media, because for some guys, you need to be able to
for a take.
And that's it. It's not good for a consistent, measured, how are you going to respond to this situation or that situation, or this individual died, or here's a really sad story or something like that. There's got to be a consistent approach to it. And Mike Mitch was just all fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
A
great guy. I thought another guy would be like that.
As much as I feel like I have to throw this in here since I said we went at it. As much as we did go at it, and we did, and in our own little private, and Bert Loughton, the PR guy, would take him and me out in the hallway, and you guys are going to figure it out here and everything. I respected him, and I told him that. I always want to hear what you actually have to say, and I hope you respect it back.
And the other side of it is coaching. Like, I'll say pure football guys, okay? Like, and I don't mean everybody's not a pure football guy, but Larry Foote as a coach,
How about
automatic.
Ferrier?
Automatic, right? Ferry is doing the dad thing right now at a maximum, okay? He's good at it. And then let's throw this one out here. Byron Leftwich.
Oh,
That role that he's playing in Tampa as the OC, quarterback coach, and everything.
that's not the role he should be playing in the NFL.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
Okay.
But let's say this too. We spoke about backup quarterbacks and what they mean to the starter, DK. It takes some pride to put yourself in that position too, to be basically an assistant, but you also learn the game because you played it on the field, but also you watch it as a coach. They'll come to the player before they actually go to the position coach sometimes.
They do it every time. Ben would do it every time. I mean, you talk about Ben and Byron they were close to inseparable on a sideline. This was pre Josh Dobbs. And let's not forget though that those guys also have to be able to play, because that's how Charlie got that big hug on the sideline in Baltimore.
Yes, indeed, man. But you know the guys that are putting themselves in positions to do that. Another media guy, Willie Colon. If you're around Willie, you're gonna love him. And you knew somebody was gonna catch him. It's like, hey, big man, you funny. You talk well. You got great stories. Get over here and let me pay you a check. And that's what happens. Like I always tell guys, there's only a few select, and there's a lot of guys that can, get out of the game and not play or not do anything, but nobody really wants to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So Willie is a guy, man, that could sit back, but he's good on radio too. Max is great on radio. And just some guys, I don't know a lot of guys that are dying to get out to go coach though, just because you spend so much time in the game, training, film, just everything around it that most of the time guys want to sit back and just enjoy their families or their downtime.
Before we sign off for real this week, I feel like you should be rewarded for having sat through my mistakes in this show and everything else. So I'm going to throw in the best Vinny story of all.
Let me.
Vinny's sitting on one side of the locker room, and he and I would always have our Thursday talks. He would talk to the most of the media on Friday. He and I would get together on Thursdays. And way on the other side, the opposite side, is where Zach Banner's stall was. And Zach Banner had no issue whatsoever making himself seen, heard, everything else. You and I had talked about it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And the difference between all of the rest of you and Vinny was that Vinny, for absolutely no reason whatsoever, he stops for talking with me. He's sitting on his stool, and he looks over at that side of the room, and he yells out in Zach Banner's direction, "Man, you got that big hair and that big voice and everything. You better play like that."
Oh, yeah.
And there go the pins in the room.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
And all I want to do in that situation is make clear that it was the inside linebacker and not the reporter who said that in that moment.
Because that's why I love Vinny. That's why Coach Tomlin and you do. And anybody that knows him, he comes off brash, but his delivery of what he's saying
is so real.
So real. And did he lie?
Raw, and he did not lie. And guess what? It was prophetic.
And you know why though? Because Vince knew that kid, Zach Banner, and I love him to have so much damn talent. But you can't put the buggy before the horse. You better go ball first. All those guys I named to you as far as in the media or coaching and stuff like that, DK, what did they do?
Yeah.
They balled.
Yeah.
I told him myself.
Every name you listed. Yeah.
Anybody, I would tell him, hey, I don't care how big you get in the media. When it comes to it now, excuse me, your ass better ball.
Yeah.
That's how it works, So Vinny, that's him.
The show eventually does end. It does.
They don't want it to because they like these stories.
Well, get Vinny on the show and let Vinny tell Vinny stories.
He's soon.
I know.
I'm hoping to set it up next week, man. I'm not promising, but you know how I'll say this too about athletes in the media. They're bad with timing, okay?
Oh, yeah. Believe me, we're aware. We're aware here. Let's do it again next week, Mon.
Absolutely.